Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Uftreen Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show. I'm your host, Chad Klein. Tonight, Bradley faces 3-5 Northern Illinois inside Carver Arena at 7 p.m. When we come back, I begin a conversation with strength coach Eddie Pappas and head athletic trainer Tyler Krogh on the Uftreen Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD. We're back on the Uftreen Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show on 1470 and 100.3. I have the pleasure to introduce what I have lovingly called the curveball crew. Eddie Pappas, who is the Director of Sports Performance at Bradley, and Tyler Krogh, who is the Director of Sports Medicine at Bradley. Basically, in layman's terms, Eddie's the strength and conditioning coach. Tyler's the, what are you, Tyler? The athletic trainer?
Everyone asks that. Yeah, athletic trainer is a good word.
Okay. So let's start with the basics here. Number one, I got to introduce how this group kind of started. We spend a lot of time together on the road. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
And I think sometimes we are in escape mode because when you're on the road a lot, you kind of get tired of the people you're around a lot, so you try to find ways to enjoy it. Fair?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So out of that, how long have you been here, Tyler, by the way?
I am in my fifth season.
Fifth season. Yeah. And Eddie?
I am in year 10 of this tenure, and I had 6 prior as part-time.
Man, you're old.
Man, you are old.
Oh, buddy.
But basically how this whole concept of this show started was in a bar, which we happen to be in right now, and we were just talking about random stuff.
Shout out J-Dog.
J-Dog?
He'll know.
Okay, there you go. But we started at a bar just talking about random stuff. I think at the time it was Caitlin Clark, who I believe, Tyler, you have a thing for.
No, I'm an Iowa guy, so I just
that's what it was. Okay.
grew up watching Iowa basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had to suffer through a year or two of that, listening to you and like, can we turn on Iowa women's basketball, please?
Let's just break this down, Chad. I heard so much Iowa talk from my roommate on the road that my social media feed started feeding me Iowa information like I was their biggest fan.
Well, that's because they're smart and they know what team to steer you towards.
That's why you love social media so much, because it listens to what you say, and then unfortunately
I found that out the hard way.
You end up having it on your show. But basically, this is the conversation. So just to kind of let you folks know, this will be somewhat professional. This will probably be at times funny, maybe more for us than you. And sometimes I don't know what's going to happen. But we're going to see how this flies and go from there. So, but anyway, this started in a bar where we're just talking about random stuff. And so that's kind of the concept of this Braves Plus that has been created, is I tried to convince these guys multiple times, I believe, to do a podcast with me. And they still won't do it. Haven't figured out why, but I finally got them at least to come on and do an interview.
I think it was to save our jobs.
Because why? Because you can't be as candid as you normally are?
I think last year was more sensitive. I think now we're past it.
You're past it?
No, I think last year had a lot more sensitivity. We went out there and put our name out there for the what's that thing called? The docuseries, and we were number one in the conference.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we were talking about it. It was like, we don't want to add more to this because it's got to end well. And now it's like a reboot.
Okay.
So it's a perfect time.
For everybody.
For everybody. Coaches,
players, staff.
The works.
Everybody.
Yeah. So I think this is a good time.
Nice. So tell people a little bit about what you do. Let's just start there. Eddie, let's start with you since you're the old one of the group.
Elders first.
All right, age before beauty. Is that what it is?
So you are the strength and conditioning coach at Bradley.
Yes.
And you are the head strength and conditioning coach, correct?
Yes, for all.
And you have a few people underneath you, correct?
I have 2 assistants, Wayne and Angela.
How does that work? How do you coordinate? How are sports determined? Just give me a little feed on that.
All right, so besides overseeing the administration of it and the overall production of it. What I'll do is I currently am with men's basketball full-time. I run the soccer program hands-on, and then my staff split the remaining teams as their strengths fit particular teams. We match them up. As we hired, we match them up. And so the current Angela's been moved over to doing women's basketball as kind of her primary, and she's like me. She kind of works with them full-time. And then Wayne works with volleyball and the softball, baseball, because he's got very good backdrop in shoulder care and upper body management. So that's how it kind of came about. As far as everything else, we just try to do all the preventative care to make sure our players are available, do the sports enhancement stuff that everybody sees on Instagram and sees all the pretty stuff, but we try to do that. And
speaking of Instagram, what is your Instagram handle? Do you have one?
I don't. I utilize my it's like a team approach.
Do you have an assistant that does it for you?
I'm not quite Trump, but I mean I do need a team sometimes. There are some things that I'm better at than most. I would say social media I'm not great at. I'm really getting good at AI right now, so I'm excited about it because I feel like that's my future.
That's your future?
That's my future. That's what's going to pay for my retirement. It sure as heck isn't Bradley. Sorry. But, yeah, so we – hell yeah. Get ready. So we lift the weights. We do the conditioning. We make sure that there's a method to the madness. We make sure the culture is set that nobody ever comes to Bradley to lift weights. We don't have a weightlifting team. So they come here to get a good education and to play sports. I try to make it to where the weight room is something they want to come to and not dread coming to, but it's going to work hard, and I would say it's probably the most honest room you're going to be in between either what you're going to hear from your coaching staff down there or between what the weights are going to do. Because sometimes you're gonna find out real fast if you've been working hard or you haven't, because if the weight comes up, maybe you've been working hard. If the weight doesn't come up, you can't fool it.
When we come back, I continue my conversation with Eddie Pappas and Tyler Krogh on the Uftreen Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD. We're back on the Uftreen Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show. We're talking to Eddie Pappas and Tyler Krogh, basically the support staff of Bradley men's basketball as far as strength and conditioning and athletic training. We were talking to Eddie before the break about making a good environment for people to lift in and grow and get stronger, faster. Sounds like a $1 million man commercial for the 60-70 show. But talk about that a little bit, scheduling-wise. I happened to come to your office, last week, 2 weeks ago, and you were – I always think of it as a person who hasn't done a lot of weightlifting and such in a long time. It was geared more towards, it was one person that did everything, and I never understood how you build a schedule of how to improve an athlete. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I'll start with the fact that we have to build a schedule for the room for every single athlete.
Yes, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Which is a maze in itself, because every coach you have to work with every coach. Every coach has got an idea of what they want to do. You have to kind of have tough conversations because it's not their room, even though they think it is. Every coach will think that the weight room's theirs. We do have to share it amongst every single team. So we try to build it based off of class schedules, based off of practice blocks, and it's quite an assignment every year, every semester, I should say. So
because it resets as classes reset.
Yeah. So, and I'll be honest with you, if you got an older team, you usually have the worst scenario because their classes are mandated, and some of them are at night, and some of them are in the afternoons. We have some great majors at Bradley, therefore it causes a real demand from engineering to nursing and so forth. And those things play a huge part. So you have to play that game, which we're currently in right now. We hope to have it scheduled for the spring by the first of the year so that the coaches can get it out, the players can go. And It depends on which time of the year it is. Are you in season? Are you going 2 to 3 times? Are you off season? Are you going 3 to 4 times? We try to prioritize some in-season stuff because the way the schedule is, we sometimes work into more small groups in season and more team. Try to build the team in the off season, but then in season we're just trying to make sure they can balance grades, our school, practice, games, travel. So for some, it could be they have to work out in the morning, and it's ideal. Some it's the afternoon, could be ideal. So that's pretty much the big maze of it all, trying to coordinate all that. But after that, it's just what phase are you in? Are you in season? Are you off season? What's your goals? What's your strengths and weaknesses? How to work certain elements of individuality within a team approach. So there's, that's the programming side of it. Sometimes when I hire, I find that programming is the number one thing that I believe that is being taught to young professionals in my field. But in actuality, the execution with dealing with coaches and dealing with people has been sorely missed. So I get really, at times you can meet really smart people who can put a program together that could get somebody on, in theory, it'd get somebody on track to be bigger, faster, stronger.
Sure.
But you're going to come into bumps in the road. You're going to come into scheduling problems. You're going to come into coaches, what they want to do with it. You're going to come into injuries. You're going to come and balancing that inside that and being able to cope is where I find is missing a lot. And right now we're just dealing with so many like on the mental side of things, the struggles that a lot of the young athletes are going through. It's very tough. And honestly, there is no real school for it to what we deal with. I've been fortunate enough, and I know, Chad, you've had too, is I've been through this age group, or I'm in this age group with my own children.
Yeah.
And I'm learning from that as much as I'm learning from reading an article from some top-notch psychiatrist.
Sure.
I'm learning how they react, and I try to take some things that I've learned from dealing with my own kids to how to deal with these kids, because there are some real struggles for them right now in the demands of college sports and what we're putting on them.
Very interesting. We'll talk more with Eddie Pappas and Tyler Krogh when we come back on the Uftring Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD. We're back with the Uftring Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show. I'm talking to Eddie Pappas and Tyler Krogh from Bradley University about strength training. Eddie, everybody thinks if you're in a sport, and strength and conditioning can be a sport technically, obviously weightlifting and so forth. But when you talk about a sport, you talk about what's your culture, what's your philosophy. Can you speak to that?
When given that question, I usually just start with adaptability.
Okay.
Starts the whole thing. I think some people have gotten into my field and just said, hey, I'm a power lifter. Hey, I believe in Olympic lifting. Hey, I believe in functional. I believe in mobility. Blah, 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 blah. I believe that Bradley gave me a great opportunity to learn how to deal with multiple sports. So I've worked with every single sport we've had. So even though I have staff, I've worked with every single team at some point. And the mentality, the training, everything is different across the board.
That's what I was going to ask, sport to sport.
Yeah, very unique in that. And so if you have a set program, a set way, it will not fit a Bradley University if you're doing multiple teams. You can get away with that if you're a big-time college football strength coach, and you're just going to do that one team.
Right.
Or if you're fortunate enough to be a Power 5 strength coach for basketball, and you only have to deal with 15 guys. Mm-hmm. You can have your way. But I will say, as we're seeing now with the changeover in coaches, but then also the constant flow of this portal and guys coming in and out, you have to be able to handle, because I'll give you an example of like an A.J. Smith has played a lot of games through his college career.
Sure.
I don't see a need to just stuff him in a box and say you're going to do things my way. Mm-hmm. If you've been managed to play and put up numbers decent for a long period of time. So I reach out to him and I ask him, what has worked well for you.
So you ask him what they've done in the past.
Yes, how can I implement elements of it? Here's what we do. Maybe we can find a way to mesh it. Maybe I just have to change over a couple things here and there. And obviously his situation is drastically different than a young freshman body like a Dietrich Richardson who comes in, and I got to do a lot more work and even in the buy-in part I talked about earlier, building that culture, building that buy-in, I mean, he hasn't had to hit the weights that hard.
Sure.
He's been very good. So adaptability is number one, and then understanding that, again, the room doesn't lie. If you do the work, you'll see the results. If you don't do the work. So there are people, and it's not just basketball. I wouldn't say basketball as much because I'm hands-on a lot more, but there's other teams that we have, let's say, 30 guys of a baseball in the baseball room. Mm-hmm. And you can't keep your eyes on every single rep,
Sure.
every single situation. But after 3 to 4 weeks, when a kid's still lifting, let's say just whatever weight it is, it's 135, and you're going, this program's set for you to increase by 10%, and you're still at 135, you're
been dogging it.
Yeah, you kind of been BSing in the corner. And so it's a truth room, and I try to bring that out, is that you have to come every day, post-practice, pre-practice, post-exam, pre-exam. I don't care. When you walk in our room, we just want you to work hard at that particular thing, stay focused. I try to keep it simple. I don't want their brains to work a lot because of the nature of our school's a tough academic school.
Sure.
So I want them to just come in and maybe even get out frustration. I want it to be an energy room. We play our music loud. We yell loud. We try to keep things moving. We try to not get so meticulous to the point of it's almost not enjoying.
Right.
So I want them to basically see the difference and want to come back, but you can't see it if you don't put the work in. So adaptability and extremely old school hard work every single time out.
What got you into strength and conditioning?
I did not feel smart enough to do anything else.
Well, it finally comes out.
I mean, at the end of the day, I literally thought, oh, I like to lift weights. I could teach this. And so I was going to be like a PE teacher. Sorry, PE teachers. And that didn't kind of go my way. I had some things, and then
too much thought process.
Well,
there?
I wound up getting a pretty good job at a YMCA with my exercise physiology degree. And honestly, I don't know. I knew enough to get through school. I'm not gonna lie. I was a CGETS degree. I was really good at that stuff, and back then, and I got out. I got a job, got going, and I got an opportunity my first time. Like I said, I'd been at Bradley. I was working full time at the YMCA, running the YMCA, and then I was doing part time at Bradley in like 2006 to 2010, and I really liked it, but I got to be honest with you. Had I known how much I was going to have to read out of college, I would have just been a lawyer and made more money. I don't know what the heck I was doing this thing, because I don't stop reading. I don't stop following stuff. It's constantly ongoing, and technology advances, training advances,
Sure.
The science that's out there. I probably could have made a mistake when it all looked back. I probably could have been a good lawyer. I like to talk. I like to argue.
Trial lawyer?
Oh, I would love.
You would love to debate. There's no question about that.
Buddy. You couldn't handle the truth.
This is the F3 Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD. It's the F3 Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD. And it's time for By the Numbers. Bradley faced the Washington State Cougars last time out at Carver Arena. Washington State would come into that game 3-5. Now, Bradley would struggle out of the gates against Washington State, and the Cougars would jump out to an early 8-0 lead and push it to 10-3 at the first media timeout. Problem for Bradley early was their shot selection. It seemed like they were forcing a lot of bad shots, and it affected their offensive rhythm, which allowed Washington State to remain in the lead for a good portion of the half. Bradley could only manage 29% shooting in the first half. But two areas that have been inconsistent for Bradley, defense and rebounding, really stepped up for the Braves to offset the poor shooting night. Bradley's defense was solid, only allowing 40% shooting and creating 11 points off turnovers, and the Braves attacked the offensive glass against a bigger opponent, getting 9 second chance points, allowing them to stay in the game, only down one, 29-28 at the half. In the second half, Bradley's defensive intensity picked up even more. forcing 4 turnovers and an early timeout by Washington State in the first 2 minutes of the second half. Bradley would take their first lead at this point, 32-29. Now, it was a good timeout by Washington State's head coach. It settled down Washington State, who would then go on a 7-1 mini run, retaking the lead 39-33. But on this night, Bradley's defense would not be denied. While Washington State would maintain the lead for most of the second half, the Cougars just could not get away from the Braves. Bradley would hang around and cut into the deficit. With 1:04 on the clock, Damarian Birch would knock down a big three-point shot, tying the game at 60. The game would come down to a late drive by Jaquan Johnson. Bradley had the ball with the game tied with 44 seconds on the clock. Coach Wardle decided to call a timeout to set up a play to get the ball into the hands of Jaquan Johnson, who has that ability to get by defenders and to the basket. Bradley spread the floor, Alex Schubrick's on one wing and Damarian Birch on the other, to minimize the Cougars' help defense. As expected, Johnson got past his man and drove the lane, drawing in another defender. He rose up and made a brilliant pass to a wide-open Ahmet Jonovic at the rim for a thunderous dunk, giving Bradley the 62-60 lead. Now, Washington State did have a chance to tie, but missed again, and Alex Schubrick would knock down 2 free throws to seal the game 64-60 in a grinded-out game. Bradley shot 44% in the second half. Their shot selection was much, much better. Now, on the game, they only shot 36%, and usually that leads to a loss. But when a team struggles to shoot, they don't win unless they're able to create more opportunities elsewhere. And that's what Bradley did. They forced 20 turnovers, resulting in 23 points, and had 10 offensive rebounds, resulting in 14 more points. Bradley was again led in scoring by Damarian Birch with another career-high 23 points, and Montana Wheeler with 15. It was a come-from-behind, hard-fought win for the Braves, who moved to 5-4. Now, Bradley faces 3-5 Northern Illinois out of the Mid-American Conference. Northern Illinois is led by 6'3", 190-pound sophomore transfer guard Mekhi Valentine, who averages 12.3 points and 5.4 rebounds per game. And also 6'4", 190-pound freshman guard Dylan DeComan, who averages 10.5 points and 4.3 assists per game. Valentine, who wears number 1, is a three-point shooter first, but has the ability to create contact and does a really good job attacking the glass as a guard. DeComan is more of a long and lanky guard that has that ability to create for himself and others. Bradley will be heavily favored in this game, but the Braves will need to be careful not to play down to their opponent. This game is an opportunity to continue to build on the confidence that Bradley has built in this little 2-game win streak. Up next, Dave Snell has Braves insight before tonight's 7 o'clock matchup against the Northern Illinois Huskies. This is the F-Train Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD.